Grave, authoritative authorities, including 16 Nobel laureates and the chief economists at OpenAI and Anthropic, recently published a stark joint admission. The economics profession cannot determine if artificial intelligence is actively eliminating human jobs. Their statement, titled "We Must Act Now," issues a specific warning. Artificial intelligence is on track to reshape the global economy faster than the Industrial Revolution, threatening massive, large-scale job displacement. The tech headlines from July 15, 2026, lawsuits, resource bans, and aggressive product drops follow a specific historical pattern. These aren't isolated events. They are the mechanics of a systemic transition. The AI industry has left its collaborative invention phase. The era of pure open-source research is finally closing, and the aggressive, cutthroat industrialization phase has fully begun. This diagram maps out the three classic stages of industrialization. To predict where the AI boom is heading, we have to track the news through these exact steps: the initial resource scramble, the ensuing corporate warfare, and the inevitable regulatory backlash. The cloud is a weightless term for a very heavy reality. Training frontier AI models requires massive amounts of physical infrastructure: steel, water, land, and power. And the digital AI boom is finally hitting those physical limits. New York Governor Kathy Hochul recently signed an executive order freezing all major AI data center construction for up to 12 months. Any project requiring over 50 megawatts of power is completely halted. State regulators are using this pause to draft new environmental standards for water and electricity usage. Hochul is also floating a fund that data centers would pay into, aiming to shield local households from skyrocketing utility costs. But the power grid is only the first bottleneck. Halfway across the globe, the physical scarcity extends down to the memory chips themselves. SK hynix CEO Kwok No-jung warned that the global memory chip market will face severe supply shortages by 2027. Because of the explosive need for AI accelerators, demand will outstrip manufacturing capacity well into the 2030s. The tech industry is suddenly trapped by hard material reality. Much like the 19th century scramble for coal and iron, the AI revolution is now bottlenecked by physical resource scarcity. With resources tightening, early research partnerships have fractured. We have entered the second historical stage: aggressive corporate turf wars. Apple is currently suing OpenAI over alleged trade secret theft and hardware espionage. The lawsuit notes that more than 400 former Apple employees now work at OpenAI's hardware lab. The accusation is highly specific. Apple alleges that former hardware chief Tang Tan, who spent 24 years helping build the company's hardware heritage, turned his departure into a poaching pipeline for OpenAI's unreleased AI speaker. Tan allegedly ran interviews where candidates were explicitly told to show up with actual parts. This chart compares the rapid-fire release schedules of SpaceX's Grok 4.5 and OpenAI's GPT-5.6 Sol. Elon Musk and Sam Altman released these competing models mere days apart, treating personal insults online while aggressively pushing their own benchmark supremacy. To counter these threats, Apple is completely abandoning its M6 chip lineup to fast-track the AI-focused M7 family. They aim to push the base M7 out by early 2027 to rival dedicated accelerators like NVIDIA's Blackwell. We are watching the tactics of historical robber barons play out in real time. The legal espionage and public clashes signal a ruthless fight for total industry dominance. The final industrial stage inevitably follows the corporate chaos. Society steps in to rein in the machinery. DeepMind CEO Demis Hassabis recently published a plan calling for a formal U.S. watchdog. He wants a body that will safety test frontier AI models for deception and bioweapons creation 30 days before public release. Hassabis explicitly pitched modeling this watchdog after FINRA, the self-regulatory body used by the finance industry, pushing for an independent oversight group funded by the labs themselves. The need for oversight is grounded in the AI's own instability. Anthropic released a study analyzing over 300,000 conversations, revealing that Claude's moral values and accuracy actually shift depending on the language spoken. It was highly deferential in Arabic, candid in Dutch, and cautious in English. Because these tools yield unpredictable biases in tech giants to govern themselves is a risk regulators are no longer willing to take. This timeline projects the findings of the AI 2040 project. Researchers have analyzed the current news cycle and mapped it to a definitive fork in the road set for 2029, splitting into paths of global cooperation or a singular, destructive power grab. Their recommended Plan A requires the US and China to unilaterally pause frontier AI training by 2029. It relies on expanded global chip tracking and forcing top labs to open their research entirely to public view. These forecasts are reaching the highest levels of government. Even U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance reviewed the worst-case extinction scenarios and publicly admitted his concern. The events of July 2026 revealed the messy, real-time drafting of a new global infrastructure. We are moving from a period of digital experimentation into a world defined by hard resource limits, corporate warfare, and a desperate struggle to govern tools that no longer act as we expect.